Hey fellow Rockstars, Dr. Dan here. And recently in our Rockstar Entrepreneur Facebook group, there was a discussion going on where people were talking about how they're struggling with getting more sales, getting more yeses. So in there I gave some tips, I gave some advice, but I figured I'd make this quick video for those of you out there that are still struggling and just want a little bit more insight, some more tips, and what we recommend to do to get more of those yeses so you can lease out more of your digital assets or any kind of sales to get more sales so you can make more money. So hope you enjoy the video.
So good, so good.
All right. All right, so we had somebody talk about how they struggle with sales. And, one of the things I want to talk about, and something that I learned early on, was that it is kind of a numbers game. Well, not kind of, it is a numbers game, because sometimes you can just be on fire, you can be on a roll, and you could like call. So if in your business you like to make the phone calls, personally I never liked to do it, but I had to do it if I was starving and needed to make some money. And I would make like 20, 30, 50, 100 calls, and I wouldn't get anybody interested, whether maybe they didn't answer the phone, maybe, they told me to F off, right? Or something like that. They just weren't interested. And then all of a sudden, after like 101, I get one sale, or a person says they're interested, and I sit down with them and I sell them. So that sometimes happens, and sometimes I make like 3 calls, and the third person's like, yeah, I'm interested, I'm in, let's do it. So that's why I say it's a numbers game, because it could be emails as well. So like, let's say you send out 50 emails, or actually, let's say 5 emails. You send out 5 emails, and the 5th email, the person's like interested, and they say, hey, let's talk more, and you sell them. Sometimes it might be that you send 200, 300, 400 emails, and nobody's interested. And either you get no replies, or people saying, take me off your list, or stop emailing me, or I hope you die, or something horrific like that. So again, it is a numbers game, and you got to just keep moving forward. Think of it as like a race, right? So if you're out there and you're in a race, how do you think it sounds very smart for somebody that's in a race to turn their head and keep looking behind them as they're running? Or how about if they're like, like my 8-year-old Bodie, who actually, when he rides his bike, or he's riding his ATV or something, he's always like, he has his head turned like this the whole time. And I'm like, dude, turn your head around, because he almost hits cars and stuff. So I mean, in a race, it makes you're not going to perform as well if you're constantly looking over your shoulder. And the same thing goes with sales. You got to keep moving. I say put the blinders on. Like those horses that they, that they have like in New York City and other cities where they're, in traffic and things like that. They put those blinders on where they can only see ahead of them, so they don't get distracted or scared or spooked, or for whatever other reasons they have those on. But, you got to put those blinders on and just keep moving forward. You can't keep, moving forward if you're constantly looking over your shoulder. And then also having a balance. Taking those breaks when you need those breaks, or even when you don't need them, but it's time to take a break. Because sometimes I'll push myself so hard moving forward because I'm just on fire, and I'm just like, man, nothing can hold me back. And the next day I wake up and I feel just crashed. I'm like, oh man, I am so tired, don't talk to me. And I'll warn the whole family. I'm like, don't talk to me, don't mess with me. I'm just gonna sit upstairs or sit in my office and just watch, I'm gonna binge watch things on Netflix, right? Because you don't want to be around me, because I'll just go crazy. And that's that balance, is preferably before you get to that point where you feel like that, take a break, go for a walk, go for a run, exercise, play some video games, go on a date night, if you're single, go out there by yourself and do something. But you got to have that balance. You got to be able to fill yourself back up. It's actually one of my Rockstar lessons in my book, is fill yourself up. Because, another analogy is, if you're driving a car right? We're getting on a whole different one now. But if you're driving in a car and your gas, if you have one of those smart cars, and it says, hey, look, you've only got 20 miles left on this tank on average, right? 20 miles left before you need to, you're going to run out of gas. Does it make sense for you to go on a 100-mile trip? You think you're going to squeeze that 100 or 200 miles out of that 20, mile left of on your tank? It ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry, it just ain't gonna happen. You can try and pour some water in there and and fill it up with something else, but it ain't gonna make a difference unless you put more gas in it, filling yourself up. You ain't gonna be able to move forward. Your car is gonna break down. You're gonna get sick. That's how your body reacts, is to get sick. If you try and fill it up with water just because you're like, oh, well, I am filling it up, even though it's water, not gas, that ain't gonna make a difference, right? Because filling it with water would be like, oh, well, I'm gonna drink a bunch of coffee. I'm gonna take, this energy drink. I'm gonna drink 10 Rockstar drinks. I'm gonna drink, what are those other ones that people drink? The Red Bull or something like that, right? The liquid crack or the liquid crank, right? Or some caffeine or things like that. That's the same thing as like just trying to pour water and other substances into your tank thinking that that's going to push your car forward even more. That's just going to cause you to crash even harder, okay? So you got to take those breaks. Now I understand there are times that you have to push forward, let's say, in business, you got to make that sell because your business is struggling and you got to make rent or pay, the lease or whatever it is, make the mortgage. You got to put food on the table. Then yeah, you do have to push forward at times, but overall you want to have that work-life balance, fill yourself back up and move forward. So back to the topic as far as on the race, when it comes to the race and it comes to the sales, you got to just keep moving forward, know when to take the breaks so you can fill yourself back up, and then you'll be 100%, and be able to keep pushing forward and make those sales. But the real secret to it is you just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Remember your why and keep moving forward no matter what. And take those breaks. That's it. Be a rockstar in your business and your life. Oh shit, I'm putting that on.